The main thing that sticks out is there's not a lot of references supporting statements you've made in your chapter. That's the biggest thing, and that's the thing that the assessors will also pick up. So that's one of the things whenever you, oh, you're frozen. Can you hear us? Oh, no, yep. Whenever you, yep. So whenever you make a statement or compare something or suggest something, you need to try and find some literature to support. It can be literature you've already used. That's the easiest.
It doesn't have to be new literature.
It doesn't have to be brand new, but you just need to, whenever you make a statement, you need to support it with an in-text citation.
Okay. So I have the question about this, so I leave it to this meeting that when I writing my discussion chapter, there are some results from our analyze chapter, and it's from the literature we use to analyze the 16 literature. So should I cite this 16 literature in the discussion chapter?
Not all in one sentence.
No.
But
throughout the chapter.
Be putting in, she's frozen.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Ishan?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, it's just that you're frozen, yeah. So not make a statement and then put 16 references down. No, don't do that. But certainly you can put in
spread them out.
3 references, the 3 most relevant references here and there to support your statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it should prove the results we made. Okay.
Essentially what you're doing now is, if you're saying, so a good example is like in section 5.2.1, you're saying all essentially but one, which is self-efficacy. You're saying that's the only thing really in the in that first model that's not consistent with what you found. So that should be something that you draw upon and discuss and have supported with references. But even for those that you say this is consistent, you need to support it with references. Why is it consistent? Because you're making a statement. So the one that wasn't consistent is that self-efficacy under your information-seeking model, you've said, is not consistent with research. It's the discussion on that. What you could do is you could, is that expected? You could have a discussion about going through the research and looking at your study. Is that something that you expected, or is that something that's not expected, but you need to support that discussion with references, and that you can refer to your research question answers as well. Okay, so that's that. It really does truly become a discussion, but it's supported with text citations. Another big thing in your in information processing, you've broken it down into skepticism, validation, and clarification. They're things you've added, but in your 5.2.2, is it 5.2.2? No, 5.2.1, those sections have no references. Those sections should be really, really heavily cited because it's something you're contributing. So you're needing to either show that there are very few references to support this, or that it's present in other ways but not in this model. So this is really, really important. So that, and because those 3 things kind of link to your, is it your third finding? That one links to one of your findings. I'm pretty sure it's your third finding. Yeah, that's your third finding essentially. Which one of your findings? So there should be a link there. Okay. I also wonder, under section 5.2.2, you talk about perceived enjoyment. There's no references, it needs references.
Okay.
You had a finding, and I can't remember if it was finding 1 or finding 2 because I haven't, my brain's gone blank, but it was the one about the fear of missing out, but at the same time, even though they don't want to miss out, they don't want to be involved because they're trying to protect themselves from anxiety. That finding, that conflict, that could be kind of linked to that it's not necessarily perceived enjoyment. It's more of the satisfaction of getting what they need. So see how you can twist it slightly. So it may not be, and that's what you could say in your discussion. You could say, for this research, it may not be perceived enjoyment. It may actually be the satisfaction of they've found what they need, or they've got the protection that they want. So there's further discussion. So that's that one. And so finding 2 is the fear of missing out. I don't think it's got enough of that contradiction though in there. You haven't drawn out, you've spoken very well about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but remember in our initial discussion of finding 2, you were talking about it's a real contradict. I don't want to miss out on information because COVID's happening, but at the same time, I don't want to know about COVID because, oh my God, my anxiety is going up. It's that conflict. So that finding is really interesting because of the conflict, but I can't see that in there yet. So it might just need 1 or 2 sentences to create that conflict. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I will read my chapter again and do this.
Yeah, so this is refining now. Yeah, so that's essentially that's essentially, I think, now what's missing. It's the message you need to have is it's not a train wreck. You've got a really good foundation, but we're missing references to support, and we're missing some of those teasing out of the really key things. So finding 2 is missing the contradiction. You could link your self-efficacy, I think, with finding 1. You're also, I did write another comment. I think that was it from me. Did I have another comment, Michelle, that I've forgotten? Can you remember?
And check on the chats that
I am reading through the chat.
That we were on just now.
Yeah. So there was. So the other thing was that you found a lot of. I think I've already mentioned this, but that's okay. I'll remind you. So some of the with both models, you found a lot of areas that are consistent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay, because remember we talked about that being okay at the start, because you've got 3 awesome findings now. So the findings are the thing that make your research. But the other thing you can talk about in either the finding sections or where you say it's consistent is it expected? So yeah, I've already spoken about that. So in your discussion, is it expected that it should be consistent, or would you have thought it might have been slightly different? So that would pad that up. Anything else, Wing Chao?
I think it's good to draw out more what is unexpected. Currently, what is unexpected is buried within all of your, this is consistent.
Yeah.
Draw out what is unexpected.
Draw out what is unexpected.
Yeah. So that's so sorry because it just broke up there. So Ming Chao's saying at the moment it's reading lots of this is expected, this is expected, this is expected, and your unexpected, all the interesting bits are lost. They're a bit buried. So make the discussion about the unexpected more obvious.
Okay.
You can even start the paragraph with, whilst, this and this are consistent with it. It is interesting to note that, this is, and then you catch their attention and then you talk more about it.
Yeah.
So you need to find ways to because this is going to be a huge document, right? So you need to find ways in which if someone were to scan through your document, there are little things that will catch their eye that will want to make them read a little bit more.
We call them signposts.
Consistent, it's consistent, okay? Like, so what? It's what we want to, if you've got found 1 or 2 that's not consistent, then let's just really focus on that. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So they're the main things. It's starting to get there. Once you've drawn that out, it's going to be a very strong discussion chapter. And so and so does Michelle, we want your findings to shine a little bit more and really, really show the depth of interaction you've had with the literature, because this is the thing that we want for you. You have done an awful lot of work. You have put in a lot of analysis. So we need this discussion chapter to show that for you, to showcase it, because that's the only way we can get people to appreciate the amount of work. So that's why you need some more references in there to really make it strong.
Yeah.
If you want, with some of your statements, like the key parts of your findings or the key parts of the things that you feel your research has contributed, you can then put them in italics, or you can put them in bold, you know, to show this is my contribution, and then all the rest is the other research that agrees or supports or helps me make this a contradiction. That's also okay, because that also can help with the messaging. So we're not necessarily wanting a lot more words at this stage. What we're wanting is refinement and the references. The references are going to add a few words, because that is, but we're looking for refinement, maybe 1 or 2 sentences here and there to really tie things together. Okay?
Okay.
Question, Ishan, in 5.2.1, your Wilson model, right? You've got information processing and use as one box. There's no sub bits to it, if you like. But when you are talking about that, when you're talking about information processing and use, you've actually got things like skepticism, validation, clarification, and things like that. Has that been drawn out of your research that's different from the model? Or are you adding more depth to the model that's there?
What does the adding the depth like? I don't understand it.
So hang on, I'll share the screen so Ming Chao can talk that through, because I've got it up on my. So Ming Chao's talking. So you've got two versions of this diagram. You've got this one here, right? And then you've got where is it? Here.
This one.
You've got these sections, and then down the very bottom,
Yes.
you've got this here.
I have a comparison.
So is that what you found?
What the skepticism and validation and
skepticism, validation, and clarification.
Yes.
Is that what you found in your research that hasn't been highlighted in the previous model?
No, it's founded in the 16 literature we analyzed.
Yeah, so it is. So
yes.
Yeah, Ming Chao was asking you, those 3 sections, is that something that was already in existence, or is it something that through your research, you've come up with, these 3 things are also important and they're not in that current model?
It's not in the Wilson's model, but someone has mentioned about the information validation, but it's not an important point of the traditional models.
Yeah, so that's what you need to draw out.
Yep.
Said that someone else has talked about information validation, right? That was not in this. So your research is in agreement with that person, but your research actually adds to this dimension because it's related to skepticism and clarification as well.
Yeah.
You need to draw that out.
Yeah. That's so important, because you've actually got an addition to a model that, as you said, other researchers have sort of said, yeah, this is indicating, but you've actually agreed or confirmed with that other researcher, but also got other elements. This is really, really important, Yishan. This is significant.
Okay.
This is very significant. So you need, it is, because it's a unique outcome to your research. So you need to make sure once you've put the references in and done that bit of strengthening, the rest of your chapter needs to be building around that argument for those 3 sections. So in section 5.2.1, I don't know, Mingqiao, because I know you've got to go in literally at 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yishan has put that in 5.2.1, where she's discussing the original model.
Yeah.
Should she move that to the end where under finding 3 and make it more of the focus of finding 3? So in section 5.2.1, Yishan doesn't mention those 3.
Yeah,
cool.
I agree, because I was looking at the text and I'm like going, the model doesn't say that.
Yeah. So,
so yes, if you move it to finding 3, then your diagram actually reflects what you're saying.
So if in section 5.2.1, Yishan, keep it to that it's not consistent and there are things missing, but then end that conversation. Then in finding 3, bring those 3 paragraphs that you have with more references, obviously, and have that discussion about those 3 points in the section of finding 3. That will highlight it. That's going to fix the majority of that finding being hidden.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So the finding is the most important part. So I need to highlight our results in it.
Yeah. So you need to just in section 5.2.3 do what you've been following with the suggestions we've already given you, but remove those 3 extra under information processing. Remove skepticism, validation, and clarification, and put them into the section of finding 3.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. That should be enough to keep you going. We've asked for your next draft. We're going to meet you on Friday at 10 o'clock. Can you get us your next draft of this discussion chapter by lunchtime tomorrow? I don't think I've said a different time.
Okay. Yes, today. I can do this tonight.
Yep. Yeah, because we'll meet you at 10. Yeah, so if you can, by tomorrow lunchtime, submit the new version of your discussion chapter, because on Friday, once we've met at 10, on Friday midnight, we're going to want your first draft of your thesis. Okay, so if you can get it to us by lunchtime, we could possibly give you feedback before the 10 o'clock meeting to start off with, and then you can start working on the thesis as an entire document. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Okay, cool.
Good luck. You're doing well.
Okay.
Looking forward to the next version.
Okay, thank you for your help.
You only have a week to go, Ishan. Just a week to go.
Yeah.
To go.
Yeah.
So close. Good.
Okay.
Thanks, Ethan.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.